My dad worked in John Fowler's down on Slip, big engineering company. He worked there all his life, as I remember. My mother used to work in the Odeon cinema in town as a waitress.
My dad did various things. He used to be a self-employed window cleaner on the estate, and he used to sweep chimneys.
Yeah, my mum used to work only when she was younger though, before she had me. The first year she was in tailoring, and then she went to, during the war she went to do bomb door hinges at Crabtree Vickers. That's what they call it now, but at the time it was only Crabtrees.
My dad was a mat maker, coconut matting, and he worked at Blind Institute because, as I said, he was blind.
My mother went back to a job she'd had when she was a young woman in the printing industry. And if you'd no money, that's the only thing they could do. And they didn't get a lot then, but better than nothing.
But my father said to me, "There's not going out pit lad."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was 15 on Friday. I started work on Monday. Yeah. you had no choice. No. If your mother says you got to do something, you got to do it.
Well, my father was a carpet line fitter in the end. He was a blacksmith originally. Then when there was no blacksmithing, he went to work at the cooperative as a carpet line fitter.
My father was a miner.
That's it, isn't it?
That's it, end of story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor fellas.
As I said, he was out of work 11 years after 26 strike. They wouldn't employ him again because he was a member of the union.
I used to work for Gatenby's, which were a fish and fruiterers, and Mr Gatenby had a wagon, and he used to come round the streets. He used to have his clogs on and his black raincoat, which was tied up with string. He used to hawk, that's what they call it, hawk round the streets, and he used to bring vinegar and you know, vegetables and all sorts of different goods round.
The main industry actually was farms, but the secondary industry to it was coal mining. Yeah. And coal mining was taking precedent over farming.
Well, the miners obviously had a heck of a lot to do with Middleton, and it was the miners who gave us our heritage.
My father got his leg broke once, and his head split open.
Oh dear.
And we were off work for about 6 or 7 weeks. And when he went back to work, that was the first job he got was clearing all rock away that fell on him.
Right.
Because they were still clearing up after it.
And I can remember Fowler's engines coming out when they were completed, big and low loaders. I remember that was wonderful.
I think it's a marvellous thing, and it should be kept going as long as it could. I think it's the oldest working railway in the world now, so it's a thing to be cherished, I believe.
Well, I've had many a ride on it, and I do know it's the oldest in the world. I know all about that. They're wonderful.
I lived down Burton Road, and there was the railway track went across the road, and you sometimes had to wait for a train going past to the coal states.
We used to come up through the woods on the trams to Middleton. They used to rattle around like nobody's business because you could hear out windows rattling and everything else.
I remember the trams because they must have closed when I was 3, but the story is that I was on the top deck of a tram and they had a door on the top deck on top of the stairs, and the door swung open and I fell down the stairs and hit the conductor at the bottom.
I went to Thoresby High School in town, you know, next to the council offices on Great George Street. So we used to go on the tram to town, the number 12 tram from the top of the avenue. It used to go through the woods.
There was a tall, thin tram, and you used to have a sliding window above the stairs. And if the conductor, used to have conductors in those days, wanted to check, see if there was anybody at the stop in the woods particularly, he'd slide it back.
I remember the trams finishing, and the last day of the trams, they let you go on for free. I remember we all got on the trams for free on that day.
Yeah, very interested in the trams because my husband belonged to a tramway society. He paid a subscription for years because his dad was a tram driver many years ago. And Leeds trams were absolutely wonderful, you know, wonderful. particularly the ride through the woods, because it were very modern, wasn't it, and everything, and the bluebells coming out.
I like to walk down the tram track now. We've widened the tram track and it's a nice walk. And I can just imagine the trams. It was one of the most scenic routes in the country when it was opened.